My roommate was a professional sugar hunter. In the digital underbelly of exclusive forums, she'd cultivated an entire roster of boyfriends, all of them heirs to some tech fortune or real estate empire. She categorized them like stock options: A-list, B-list, and C-list. The A-listers were the whales. They'd wire her five-figure sums just for being sweet. The key-listers were the stingy ones, and by the end of every month, she'd conduct a brutal pruning. It was purge night. I sat at my desk, paralyzed by the mere thought of a social interaction, while she groaned from her bed. "Ugh, I'm exhausted," she complained, her thumb flying across her screen as she blocked one contact after another. "If you're broke, don't pretend to be a trust fund baby. I don't have time to waste on losers who can't even cover a shopping spree." I bit my lip, my heart hammering against my ribs. I raised a trembling hand, my voice barely a whisper. "Sienna, those guys you're blocking, are you just throwing them away?" She glanced up, squinting. "Yeah, why? Could you give one to me? I have social anxiety. Not the, I'm a bit shy at parties kind, but the I have a panic attack if the barista looks me in the eye kind." It had reached a breaking point. My therapist told me that if I didn't make progress, I'd have to take a medical leave from the university. But I didn't have the money for the intensive, high-end cognitive behavioral programs. Start small, the doctor had suggested. Talk to people online. Maybe even try a low-stakes digital romance. It's a safe space to practice being yourself. But I was too terrified to even send a hi to a stranger on a dating app. That was why I'd gathered every ounce of courage to speak to Sienna Reed. She looked at me like I'd just grown a second head. "Wait, you actually have a voice? I thought you were a literal mute, Daisy." The embarrassment burned my throat. I stared at my shoes. "What? You want to try your hand at the game?" Sienna smirked, her eyes glinting with a predatory sort of amusement. "I guess I could spare one." She swiped through her secondary phone, then stopped. "Here, this guy. He's on an encrypted messaging app I don't use much anymore. I'll give you the login. It's all yours." A surge of hope flared in my chest. Maybe she wasn't so bad after all. Thank you." I reached for the phone, but she pulled it back, her expression hardening. "Don't get ahead of yourself. It's not a gift. I spent weeks farming this contact. It's a premium lead. $500, and the account is yours for good." "500? I stammered, my hand dropping. "Nothing in this world is free, Daisy, especially not a billionaire's son." She leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Word on the street is this guy is the heir to the Montgomery estate. Old money, private jets, the works. If you play your cards right, you'll make that 500 back in a single good morning text. You want him or not?" The truth was, Sienna didn't actually know if he was a Montgomery. The guy had never replied to her messages, never posted on his private feed, and certainly never sent her a cent. She figured she'd been scammed by whatever broker sold her the contact info. I didn't care about the money, though. I wasn't looking for a payday. I was looking for a ghost to talk to. I hesitated, then nodded. "Okay." Sienna's eyes lit up. She flipped her phone around to show her Venmo QR code. "Smart girl, Daisy Miller. You won't regret it." After the transfer went through, I logged into the account and changed the recovery info. As I did, I caught Sienna watching me. She looked surprised. "I never noticed before," she muttered as I climbed into my bunk bed and pulled the curtains shut. "You're actually kind of a knockout when you aren't hiding behind that hair." Behind the safety of my bed curtains, the world felt manageable. I stared at the new profile. The avatar was a minimalist, cold shot of a mountain peak. The name was just M. How do you even start? For someone like me, a digital hello felt like a leap off a cliff. I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and typed, "Hi, are you awake?" I hit send and immediately tossed the phone to the foot of the bed, my heart racing. I waited and waited. By the time I fell asleep, there was no reply. Honestly, it was a relief. Talking to a living, breathing person was terrifying. Talking to a silent void, that I could do. He became my digital diary, a tree hole where I could bury my thoughts. Daisies. Good morning. They put onions in the breakfast burritos at the dining hall today. Gross. Daisies. I saw 2 squirrels fighting over a crust of bread today. The smaller one won. It felt like a win for the little guy. 3 months passed. I sent him snippets of my day, photos of the sunset, and my secret fears. I never expected a reply, so I grew bold. I practiced the flirtatious lines I'd read in novels, testing them out on the silence. Daisies. Do you know what my favorite kind of star is? Daisies. It's the one I see when I think of you. Cheesy, right? I'll stop. The turning point came when I dropped my phone in the library. The screen shattered, and it took 3 days to get it repaired. When I finally logged back in, my breath hitched. There were 2 messages. M. Sent the first night I was gone at midnight. M. Losing patience already? Sent the second night. My stomach did a somersault. He was alive. He was a real person, and he had noticed I was gone. Before I could figure out a reply, the phone began to vibrate in my hand. He was calling. I panicked and hit decline so fast I almost dropped the phone again. Across the room, Sienna narrowed her eyes. "Daisy? Was that your phone? I haven't heard that thing ring since the semester started. Nobody ever called me." I looked away, my face flushing. It was just an alarm. The phone vibrated again. Sienna stood up, reaching for it. "Let me see. You've been acting weird lately." "No!" I pulled back, but she was faster, lunging for the device. In the scuffle, she knocked over her bowl of spicy ramen. The red broth splashed everywhere, soaking into the fabric of her cream-colored designer dress. "No!" she shrieked, looking at the stain in horror. "This was $2,000. Daisy, you clumsy bitch! You're paying for this! I'm not just socially anxious. I'm a frustration crier. My throat tightened and my voice cracked with tears. You tried to grab it. It's not my fault. The hell it isn't. If you'd just given me the phone, this wouldn't have happened. Our other roommate, Mia, finally snapped. Sienna, shut up. You were harassing her. Why would she show you her private messages? Lexi chimed in from her desk. Exactly. We saw it. You lunged at her. Don't try to bully her into paying for your vanity. Sienna fumed, realizing she was outnumbered. She grabbed her robe and stomped toward the bathroom. Fine. You're all just jealous. I'm telling the RA about this. Once she was gone, I looked at Mia and Lexi, my eyes wet. Thank you. Don't sweat it, Daisy. She's been a nightmare lately, Mia said. I climbed back into my bed, trembling. I looked at my phone and realized my worst nightmare had come true. In the struggle, I hadn't declined the second call. I had accidentally hit accept. Done fighting yet? A voice asked. It was a deep, cool baritone that sounded like expensive bourbon and late nights. I hung up immediately. What? Did you lose the fight? Are you crying now? I wanted to crawl into a hole and die. Daisies. No, you scared me. My bad. I shouldn't have called out of the blue. Busy the last 3 days? He actually cared. Daisies. No, my phone broke. I just got it back today. Why didn't you just buy a new one? Must be nice to be that rich. Daisies. The old one still works. There was a 5-minute silence while he apparently processed the concept of repairing things. Then, transfer. $10,000. Go get a new phone. The amount of zeros made me dizzy. My hands shook. Daisies. No, I can't take this. Truly, I'm fine. Don't overthink it. Your daily updates are entertaining. I got used to them. I don't like it when my routine is interrupted. Buy the phone. Keep the updates coming. I was stunned. Daisies. Oh, okay. Transfer. $10,000. For the dress. Buy a $20,000 one. Tell your roommate to stay in her lane. This was insane. Was I being groomed? Was this some elaborate scam? But I had nothing to steal. Daisies. Why are you doing this? You have a nice voice. I heard a bit of it before you hung up. I have chronic insomnia. If you're willing to read me a story every night until I fall asleep, I'll put you on a $15,000 monthly retainer. Think of it as a job. My heart thudded. This wasn't just a way to pay for school. It was a way to practice speaking. To a stranger who couldn't see me. Daisies. Okay, deal.
The quiet hum of my laptop screen was the only light in my darkened corner of the dorm room. On the other side of the privacy curtain, Sienna was snoring off her frustration over the ruined dress, but my heart was beating a wild, erratic rhythm against my ribs. My phone glowed on my lap. A single notification sat on the screen. Call connected. I shoved my thumb over the mute button, paralyzed. My breath came in short, shallow hitches. Daisy, his voice was different through the receiver, deeper, smoother, devoid of the harsh edge I had expected from someone who threw $10,000 transfers around like loose change. It sent a sudden shivering warmth right down my spine. I'm here, I whispered, my voice cracking so badly it was barely audible. I cleared my throat, dying of embarrassment. Hi, a low, quiet exhale sounded on his end. Take a breath, you sound like you're about to jump off a bridge. I don't. I'm not good at speaking, I confessed, squeezing my eyes shut. I haven't talked to anyone outside my therapists and my roommates in 6 months. Then don't talk to me, said simply. Read to me, you promised. I reached for the battered paperback sitting on my nightstand, an old collection of classical mythology I'd pulled from the bargain bin at a local used bookstore. Pages rustled as my fingers shook. Okay, I breathed. Chapter 1, The Legend of Orpheus. At first my voice was a reedy, hesitant whisper. Every pause felt like an eternity, every stumble over a multi-syllable word a monumental failure. But didn't interrupt. He didn't sigh in annoyance or tell me to hurry up. He just listened, his slow, steady breathing pulsing rhythmically through the speaker. As the pages turned, my grip on the phone relaxed. The knot in my chest began to loosen. I wasn't being judged. For the first time in years, the crushing weight of another human's eyes wasn't pinning me to the floor. After 20 minutes, his breathing slowed into a deep, rhythmic murmur. I whispered into the mic, no answer, just the quiet sound of sleep. I smiled softly, hovering my thumb over the red button. Good night, Over the next 3 weeks, the late-night reading sessions became our sacred routine. Exactly at 11:30 p.m. my phone would vibrate. I'd curl under my duvet, open a book, ranging from ancient folklore to modern science fiction, and read until his even breathing signaled he was asleep. My panic attack slowed. The terrifying tremor in my hand when I ordered coffee at the campus center faded into a manageable flutter. Meanwhile, Sienna was growing increasingly suspicious. Where are you getting those clothes? She demanded one afternoon, slamming her designer purse down on her desk. She glared at the sleek, minimalist sweater I was wearing, a gift I'd bought myself with a fraction of the allowance insisted on sending every Monday. I bought them online, I said quietly, keeping my eyes fixed on my laptop as I typed an essay. With what money? Sienna strutted over, leaning over my shoulder with her arms crossed. You don't have a job, Daisy, and don't give me that my parents sent it crap. I saw your bank balance on your desk last month. You were down to double digits. I got a remote job, I replied, forcing my voice to remain calm and steady, a technique my therapist had preached for months but which I was only now able to execute. Editing transcripts. Sienna scoffed, her eyes narrowing as she spotted my brand new phone charging on the stand. That's a $2,000 flagship phone. Transcripts don't pay for that. Her gaze flicked to my face, sharp and calculating. You're still using that account I sold you, aren't you? I didn't answer, which was all the confirmation she needed. Oh, you little leech, she laughed bitterly. You're leeching off my contact. I knew that account wasn't dead. Who is he? What's his real name? He's just an employer, Sienna. Please leave me alone. An employer? She snatched my phone off the charger. Before I could jump up, she held it out of reach, tapping the screen to wake it. The lock screen displayed a single, encrypted notification. Sleep well, daisies. See you tonight. Sienna's face went pale, then flushed a furious, mottled red. The Montgomery heir. You're talking to a Montgomery. Give it back, I shouted, stepping forward. Mia jumped down from her bed, stepping firmly between us and shoving Sienna back. Drop the phone, Sienna, seriously. Touch her stuff again and I'm calling campus security. Sienna threw the phone onto my bed with a sneer, but her eyes were glittering with pure, unadulterated green malice. You tricked me, Daisy. You knew who he was. You bought a fortune for $500. You set the price, I said, holding her gaze for the first time since we became roommates. And you called him a loser. Sienna didn't drop it. In fact, her obsession grew into a frenzy. She spent the next week scouring the dark web forums where she bought the original lead, burning through thousands of dollars of her own money trying to buy backdoor access or administrative privileges to the encrypted app. She couldn't get in. Mu's private network was locked tighter than a vault, so she changed tactics. If she couldn't get through the digital door, she would steal the key. It happened on a rainy Thursday evening. I was in the campus library, hunched over a study carrel, when my laptop screen suddenly flickered and went dark. A system error popped up. External device connected. Syncing files. I froze. Sticking out of the side USB port was a sleek black flash drive. I looked up in terror. Sienna was standing 3 aisles away, holding her phone up, a triumphant smirk plastered across her face. Beside her stood a guy I recognized as one of the CS majors from her inner circle, a notorious campus hacker who did shady digital work for rich kids trying to pass exams. Oops, Sienna purred, strolling over as the progress bar on my screen reached 100%. Looks like my friend just cloned your local drives, Daisy. Photos, passwords, app tokens, everything. Sienna, stop. I panicked, my heart dropping into my stomach. You can't do this. Watch me, she whispered, leaning over the table. You stole my mark, I'm taking him back. By tonight I'll have your session token logged into my phone. I'll be the one reading him to sleep and you'll be back in your little corner crying like the useless freak you are. She yanked the flash drive out, patted my cheek with a cold, manic grin and walked away. My hands shook violently as I opened the encrypted app on my phone. Daisies. Something terrible happened. My roommate just stolen my login token with a flash drive. She's going to try to access this account. 5 seconds passed. Then the screen flashed. Did she touch you, Daisies? No, but she has my files. She's going to impersonate me, Let her try. A long pause followed before another message popped up. Daisy, do you trust me? I stared at the letters, feeling a strange, solid stillness wash over the terror in my chest. Daisies. Yes, Good, don't revoke the token. Let her log in. I'm going to set a stage and you're going to watch her burn. 3 days later, Sienna was practically glowing with smug arrogance. She had successfully hijacked my session token, locking me out of the app on my phone while she gleefully took over the chat. She spent 3 nights pretending to be me, putting on her softest, sweetest voice during the midnight calls, attempting to lure into meeting her in person. She thought she had succeeded. He invited me, Sienna boasted loudly to her friends in our dorm, intentionally raising her voice so me, Alexi, and I could hear every word. The annual Montgomery Charity Gala in downtown New York. Black tie. Exclusive access. He sent me a digital VIP invitation and a custom dress code. She held up a stunning, floor-length crimson gown that had arrived via courier that morning, a dress that easily cost upwards of $15,000. He realizes now that he was talking to a real woman, not some dull little library mouse, she added, throwing a mocking glance at me. Some people are just born for the spotlight, others are meant to stay in the dark. I sat at my desk, quietly sipping my tea. I said nothing. That evening, Sienna spent 4 hours on her hair and makeup, painting herself into a picture of high society glamour. She strutted out of the room like a queen ascending her throne, leaving the door wide open behind her. 10 minutes after she left, my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown, secure number. Unknown. The car is outside your dorm, Daisy. Wear something comfortable. I walked down to the curb. A sleek black Maybach was idling near the entrance. The driver stepped out, opened the rear door and gestured inside. On the leather seat sat an unpretentious, elegant navy dress with a small note attached. You don't need to hide anymore. Come see the end of the story. The grand ballroom of the Plaza Hotel was a glittering sea of diamonds, tailored tuxedos and crystal chandeliers. Wall Street titans, tech billionaires, and old money aristocrats mingled over champagne. Sienna stood near the center of the room, preening under the admiring glances of the wealthy crowd. She looked stunning in her crimson dress, sipping expensive Prosecco and scanning the room for her mysterious prince. Suddenly, the ambient music quieted. A microphone clicked on near the main stage. A tall man in a flawlessly tailored charcoal tuxedo stepped up to the podium. He had sharp, striking features, dark hair swept back cleanly, and eyes as cool and piercing as a winter night. My breath caught in my throat. I stood near the back of the room, hidden beside a marble pillar. It was him. I didn't need an introduction. I recognized the presence instantly. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. His voice echoed through the high-caliber speakers, that deep, velvety baritone that had calmed my panic attacks for months. Thank you for joining us for the 12th annual Montgomery Foundation benefit. Sienna's eyes widened. She gasped loudly, her hand flying to her mouth. It was him. Julian Montgomery. the sole heir to the Montgomery tech and real estate empire, a man famously reclusive, ruthless in business and entirely untouchable. Julian smiled, though the expression didn't reach his eyes. Tonight, before we begin the auction, I'd like to extend a very special welcome to a guest who went through extraordinary lengths to be here tonight. Sienna's chest puffed out. She adjusted her dress, taking a proud step toward the stage, preparing to be swept up into his arms in front of the entire elite world. Miss Sienna Reed, Julian said softly into the microphone. A spotlight abruptly cut through the dim lighting, snapping directly onto Sienna. The crowd turned, murmuring in admiration as she beamed, waving modestly to the flashing cameras. Miss Reed, Julian continued, his tone smooth as silk, who recently paid a rogue student $500 to hack an encrypted network, steal a personal devices session token, and attempt an identity theft scam in an effort to extort funds from my firm. Silence that fell over the ballroom was absolute. Sienna's smile froze. The colour drained from her face so fast she looked like a corpse in a crimson dress. What? She choked out, her voice amplified slightly by the surrounding silence. Julian gestured smoothly toward a massive digital projector screen behind the stage. The screen flashed to life. It didn't show photos or text messages. It showed a crisp, high-definition video of Sienna sitting at her desk, laughing with her hacker friend as they transferred my cloned data onto her phone. Beside it were complete, itemized logs of her IP address, the stolen credentials, and a formal criminal dossier compiled by Montgomery Security. To make matters more interesting, Julian said coolly, tapping a stack of legal documents on the podium, Miss Reed has spent the past 2 years running an unauthorized, unregistered financial scam using offshore handles, a federal offense involving fraud, wire misrepresentation, and identity theft. Gasps erupted through the room. Camera flashes began to go off rapidly, blinding Sienna as she stood paralyzed in the center of the spotlight. Local police, along with representatives from the university's disciplinary board and the SEC, are waiting in the lobby, Julian added flatly. Security, please escort Miss Reed out. Burly guards stepped out from the shadows, grabbing Sienna firmly by the arms. No, wait, she screamed, her voice cracking as she wriggled violently. This is a mistake, I'm the one he wanted. I'm the one in the dress. Daisy is nobody, she's a nobody. Her heels skidded across the marble floor as the guards dragged her away, her panicked shrieks fading down the grand hallway until the heavy oak doors slammed shut behind her. The noise of the gala resumed, buzzing with excited whispers and scandal. Julian stepped down from the stage, ignoring the wealthy socialites trying to catch his attention, and walked directly toward the quiet marble pillar at the back of the room. My heart was pounding, but for the first time in my life I didn't feel the urge to run. I didn't feel the suffocating wave of panic. He stopped a few feet away from me, his sharp eyes softening as he took in the sight of me in the navy dress. Daisies, he said, his voice dropping into that private, familiar register. I murmured, stepping out into the open light. A tiny, genuine smirk touched the corner of his lips. You look much better in navy than she did in red. You didn't have to do all of that, I whispered, though a wave of immense, satisfying relief was settling deep in my chest. The gala, the screen. I don't like people touching what's mine, Julian said simply. He held out a hand to me, open, steady, waiting, and I don't like my reader being distracted. She has a book to finish tonight. I looked down at his hand, then up into his eyes. There was no terror left inside me, no crushing anxiety, no fear of the dark. I reached out and placed my hand in his. Chapter 2, I said softly, a small, confident smile touching my lips. The Legend of the Stars. Julian smiled back, closing his fingers gently around mine. I'm listening.